Exams have just begun. Many students don't look at their papers. They keep sneaking glances at the class clock. Then when the time comes, they all pointed to a school bully, only to see the school bully Xiao Mei knock down a gesture. These students who are concerned about him, they all wrote the correct answers on their exam papers. Wrote the correct answer. This is the second time the schoolmaster has cheated for others. In order to make sure it's legal, he started a piano class in advance, using the piano fingering as a code to transmit the answers. He used the money he got from cheating as the regular income of the course. So for a mediocre final exam, he made 230,000 yuan. There's no way in this school for rich kids. There are too many rich clients. This exam made Xiao Mei famous. With more and more clients enrolling in the course, money is no longer a problem for this top student. It seemed that money was no longer a problem for this top student. Soon, a new exam came up. Xiao Mei raised the price. She was ready to make a fortune. But at this time, Xiao Mei didn't know. There was a very honest student in his class. When Xiao Mei cheated the last time, he found out that there was something wrong with the exam, although he didn't know who was cheating, but still reported to the teacher. And what's even more devastating to Xiao Mei is that, this time the exam was divided into two papers. Xiao Mei got a ticket, and nearly half of his clients, they all have B vouchers. It doesn't matter if he gets a refund, but it'll ruin his reputation of winning every exam. His future income will definitely be affected. So he had an idea. First, he finished the A paper as fast as he could. Then when the students were handing in their papers, he switched papers with the student next to him. When he got the B paper, then he passed the answers to the remaining customers. Succeeded in making all the rich kids satisfied by handing in their papers. They thought they could pass the exam, but I didn't know. What I did just now, were all watched by this boy named Y. He saw it with his own eyes. He's a student just like Xiao Mei. The difference is that Wei has a strong sense of justice. Some rich kids have been trying to cheat with him for a long time. He refused to pay $3,000 a time. He said he'd never cheat to make money. So as soon as the exam was over, he immediately went to the headmaster to expose the cheating. Xiao Mei's parents were called. Not only was her full scholarship revoked, he also lost his precious place to study abroad. His mind was completely broken. The headmaster didn't understand. You're obviously the top student in the school. Why would you risk so much to help someone cheat? Not waiting for him to explain, Wei said he did it for money. The headmaster was disappointed. He warned Xiao Mei, a place to study is not for making money. Xiao Mei didn't think so. On the contrary, she exposed this hypocritical headmaster to his face. It turns out that when she entered the school, the headmaster saw that Xiao Mei was a genius. He promised to waive all school fees, but Xiao Mei later found out. But the headmaster secretly used the name of the scholarship. He tricked her father into paying another 200,000 yuan. If you are unkind, don't blame me for being unrighteous. He wanted to fight back. He wanted to continue to cheat for others, to earn back the money that should belong to his father. Here comes a bigger temptation. A rich classmate offered him $600,000. He begged him to cheat again, and this time, the test is the SAT test for applying to American universities. It's known as the strictest test in the world. If you get caught, you'll be sent to jail immediately. A pencil was sold for $250,000 because it's not just any pencil. It's a ticket to an American university. The different widths of the barcode on the pencil represent the answers to the multiple choice questions in the exam. From left to right, they are A, B, C, D. The numbers next to the barcodes are the answers to the fill-in-the-blanks questions. 250,000 each for 30 clients. That's a whopping 7.5 million in one fell swoop. But the question is, how can we get the answers before the exam? He's a genius. The world's toughest American college entrance exam SAT test. He found a loophole in the SAT test. That is, the time difference. As a global college entrance exam, the SAT has test centers in many countries. On the same day, some countries take the test first and some later. The maximum difference can be 4 hours. Xiao Mei only needs to go to the test center in Australia, where the test starts earlier, so she can see the test questions earlier, because we use the same set of questions. So all you have to do is memorize the answers, and then use the mobile phone hidden in the toilet to go back to Thailand. Then we can mass produce pencils with the answers. It'll help your clients pass the exam 100%. Unfortunately, Mei can only memorize half of the answers. He needs another helper. The best candidate is Y. who's also a bully, but he's too straightforward and has no brains. He didn't want to help Mei cheat, but now he's been beaten up and thrown to the rubbish dump. He missed the test to send him abroad, and lost the only chance to change his fate. Unfortunately, has shaken his upright heart. Xiao Mei persuaded him to join the gang. In order to ensure that the plan is foolproof, the two geniuses began all-round cheating drills, from memorizing the answers, to running to the toilet speed training, even the interrogation drill after being caught. However, during the last question of the interrogation, the rich kid accidentally let slip a secret. He said Wei had been beaten up and thrown to the rubbish dump. Wei suddenly jumped up. He beat up the second-generation rich man, because he hadn't told anyone about this. That means it must be the rich kid who arranged the beatings. He purposely set up Wei to miss the exam to send him abroad, so that he could join the gang. The devastated Wei ran out of the door in a rage. Xiao Mei also saw the ugly face of the second-generation rich man, decided to quit. Unexpectedly, he ran into Wei again. The other party figured it out. He was angry, but he didn't need to be angry about money. Cannot be beaten up for no reason. So the two of them went to Sydney's examination center together again, preparing to finish the battle that must be fought. After hiding their mobile phones, the two teenagers used their pens as knives and headed to the exam center. It's the toughest test in the world, and they have to answer all the questions in 20 minutes, because the rest of the time, they have to memorize half of the multiple choice answers. When it's time for a break, and then they'll send the answers, and send out the answers. Mei sent the first half of the answers as planned, but at the crucial moment, Wei hesitated. He cancelled the numbered answers and raised the price. He asked the client to transfer another $1,000,000 to him. On the other side, the rich kid was furious, but he could only transfer the money obediently. Who let Wei take the lead now? The next exam is about to start. They went back to the exam room and did the questions and memorized the answers, all in one go. But when they rushed to the toilet again, there was an accident. There was a long queue on Mei's side, and Wei had a bigger problem.
Get out!
As the knocking on the door became louder and louder, Wei used the fastest speed, after sending the answer to delete the record, but he was too nervous. He tried to flush the phone away, but it got stuck because it was too big. The next second, the invigilator broke through the door. On the other side, Xiao Mei just took out her mobile phone. She didn't have time to pass the answers. He heard the same knock on the door. Luckily, he was calm and cool. He hid his mobile phone in his shoe and left the cubicle. The invigilator didn't notice anything unusual. He was lucky to escape, but just after he came out, he ran into Wei, who was arrested and wanted to go back to the exam center. He was searched by the police. What should he do? The exam is not over yet. He could only hide his mobile phone in the water cooler. Then he went into the exam room, alone. He memorized all the answers at the back, but there was another problem. He had to leave the exam room early. There was still time to send the answers, so he took a pencil and stuck it down his throat. He spun it around and twisted it and finally managed to spit it out. He left the exam room pretending to be sick, but the male invigilator who took Wei, he was after Xiao Mei again. He could only take his mobile phone and pass the answers as he ran. He managed to get into the station, but he didn't make it to the underground. The invigilator behind him was getting closer and closer, and he was in a dead end. He passed the answers, but he was caught. Luckily, he threw his mobile phone into someone else's bag. He was finally safe, but Wei wasn't so lucky. He was banned for life, and this cheating became a stain on the rest of his life. Looking at Wei, Xiao Mei felt a deep sense of remorse. If he hadn't dragged Wei into this, his life would not have been ruined. After returning to China, Xiao Mei cut off all contact with the rich kids. She also refused to pay the 2 million. She wanted to completely disassociate herself from this circle, but she received an invitation from Wei again. At this time, Wei had completely gone dark. He planned a bigger cheating case. He could make at least 10 million, and safer from being caught. He knew Xiao Mei would definitely refuse, so he threatened him if he didn't join. He would report him, but Xiao Mei smiled back and left, because he had made up his mind to turn himself in. From this moment onwards, he realized that the world is a fair place. God is fair, because he's not fair to everyone.